Yeah. With every market, or with every traditional market,
Mm-hmm.
there is what we consider the bull cycle and the
Okay.
bear cycle. Now, the bull cycle is a specific period of time, usually a very short period of time, a year or less,
Mm-hmm.
where the whole market is trending upward. Like at that time, it's almost looking like you can never lose. Like everybody's looking like a professional trader at that time. I remember that particular period in 2020, 2021. There was a bull run with NFTs where any NFTs you threw
Mm-hmm.
your money at was going to give you at least 10x, 20x, and everybody felt like a genius. But now you can see everybody's talking about NFTs like they're scam NFTs. So that's a very good indication of of a bear cycle. That is when
Mm-hmm.
everything is going nose
Mm-hmm.
diving
Nose diving
down.
down.
Everybody is losing their pants. Everybody is crying. Everybody's like, "Oh, I took a loan. Now it's worth nothing." And
Oh
so,
no.
so
Yeah.
we do
Do you
that.
know, when I was planning my questions and just planning this podcast, the first thing that came to mind is that we've actually had more more productive, better conversations in our 5 years or 6 years outside campus than we had
Yes,
within campus.
that's actually
I can even say that
like
when we were together, I'm not sure we spoke for 30 minutes. Like when you say let's
I
bring
I
everything.
think our speaking time, even considering the fact that we went to the same school, considering the
Yeah,
fact that our department was in the same building,
exactly.
like I don't think we had a collective conversation of more than
Yeah,
30 minutes
yeah.
all through the
All
5 years
through the
on
five
campus.
years. And I am sure we've had hours after post university.
As in countless, yes, yes,
That's
yes.
interesting to know.
That's how funny life. That's how funny life can
Life
be.
can be
Like,
funny in a way that we've had several conversations outside there. I was just smiling when I was writing the question. Oh, I'm just going to start with this. This is a good way to start and say. So life is funny. And the reason for was how do I start this? You are the boss here. You have this podcast experience. I'm just starting out actually, which is cool.
yeah, but I'm a guest now.
Yeah,
When it comes to particular podcast, I'm a
of
guest.
course,
You
of
get
course,
that.
of course.
I just have to act like
So
that.
you are doing the guest act now. So there's something interesting about the podcast and why do I have this podcast? Like the name implies, fine is not enough. I think it's from my experience
Mhm.
speaking with people here, and I noticed that people just tend to say fine. Especially, I don't want to say especially men, but people in general, when you ask them questions, fine, they don't like to go into details of what is happening in their lives and everything. And also because I have these, part-time experience in the language sphere, I discovered that one reason again is the fact that people don't even have the, can I say, words to express how they feel or how they do. So they just say, "How are you?" Fine. But mine, the reason for this podcast is to go deeper into what people do. For example, if I know you dance, I want to know everything about dance. So you are here to maybe teach me. Like you should expect I know nothing, okay? And let's dance to your knowledge in a way. So now I'm coming to you and I'm saying, how are you?
I just it's quite coincidental, but I'm having a very chaotic morning, so
Oh,
I'm not even in any space to say I'm fine because it's very chaotic. My morning has been very very
oh,
like um I'm I wouldn't like to say I'm trying to go fully into Web3, but I
mm,
am fully into Web3.
oh,
And one of the facets of Web3 is the airdrop farming shenanigans. And there was a very much anticipated protocol that released their checker early this morning. That is 6 o'clock Nigerian time,
Okay.
and to my surprise, I checked the checker. I wasn't eligible for the airdrop.
Oh.
So, like you can imagine, hours and years of trying to position, trying to fit a particular criteria,
Mm.
just to find out on the morning of the checker that you are not eligible. But you know what? As a man, we always have to say we are fine. So life goes on.
Mm.
But I'm having a very, very chaotic morning, to say the least.
Now to think somebody's bringing you here on this podcast where you should be focusing on, I need to get this.
I, I actually think like this is an escape for me
Oh,
because
okay.
um, one of the best thing I'm good at is community building,
Mm.
and one of the community I've built, I was just saying on there this morning that you know what, guys, I cannot deal with this now. I need to prepare for a podcast I'm going on to. So I'm seeing this as more of an escape because even beyond the chaos
Mm-hmm.
that is happening all around me,
Mm-hmm.
I still need to come and show as much composure as possible.
Mm.
I still need to deliver at my very best. And that's the funny thing, that even though the society is trying to rob men of that, that is one of the greatest quality that nature and DNA has embedded into us as men. We need to, like, even when you need to deal with your mental health, you also need to
Mental
deal with the
health.
challenges because when everything, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on this spot, but when everything hits the fan, it is
Okay.
only the men that really turn up. So,
I was just
so
about saying that's the definition of be a man. That's what they say, right? Just be a man.
exactly,
Just man up.
that's just that's like the realistic definition of being a man. You need to suck it all up, and you need
Mm-hmm.
to face the next phase because there would always be a next challenge. So, what happens when you are not up for the next challenge?
Mm, that's crazy. You said something about airdrop now, like talk to me like I'm a 5 year old. You said something about criteria. We have several criteria for meeting
Yeah,
one airdrop. Does that mean
yeah,
these airdrops they have different criteria for different? Can I say coins or I don't know tokens? Do they have
yeah.
different?
You
Yes.
can call them coins. You can call them tokens. Yeah, you can call them coins. You can call them tokens. But for each coin and token, there might be
Okay.
preset criteria. There might be criterias unknown to you. Some of them they just need you to meet one criteria. Some of them, all you need to do is to have interacted with the software. Let me use layman terms so that the old
Mm-hmm.
terminologies and jargons will not get too mixed up. So you
Mm-hmm.
some of them you just need to interact with their software. Some of them you just need to interact with their app. That is all you need to do to be eligible to get the airdrop. Now, some of them are retroactive, meaning that you have to keep doing some things over a set period of time.
Okay.
So some of them are just random. Some of them are just random,
Mm.
and some of them you just have to be a participant in a previous project or an
Okay.
affiliate project or an affiliate product. So it's a very broad niche of
Broad
Web3, as
niche.
crazy
Yeah.
as it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
But at
What?
the same time, a lot of people have made significant amount of wealth through that particular route.
Talk of airdrop. Thanks for that. What does airdrop mean? It's like because I play games a lot. I play PUBG and I play what's the name of this game? And when we say airdrop, it's like
All of
goodies. Yeah, goodies. You know
yeah.
those drops
It's
that
like
you
it's like
pick.
really dropping
Yeah, when you're dropping,
yeah.
picking your guns, picking health, ammunitions. In crypto, what does that mean?
Yeah. Yeah, now in crypto, in Web3, in blockchain generally,
Okay.
airdrop simply means that when these products, when these softwares, when these apps, when they reward users
Okay.
with their tokens. So,
Mm.
like it's almost like, I think in the very early days, I was in uni then, I think 200 level. There were times where you would have to play some games to
Okay.
get Bitcoin. Like it was that easy to get Bitcoin. So let's assume, or let's use an hypothetical case of an airdrop being you playing a game
Okay.
to get a token. Now,
Okay.
just the same way you play your Call of Duty and there are some tokens within the Call of Duty, but the only difference in Web 2 and Web 3 is the coins you get in Call of Duty, you can't sell them directly in the open market. Sure,
Okay.
you get
Okay.
like your best guess would be to, and most of these games they are not transferable. Like you can't have an account. I have an account in COD, then I send you coins. You see that it usually doesn't happen that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But in Web 3, those coins are transferable.
Okay.
Those coins can be sold in the open market. So that's just what the concept of airdrop is
Mm-hmm.
the fact that you are getting rewarded for using an app, a software, as the case may be. We don't call them softwares and app over here, but let's just for the sake of this
Okay.
conversation, let's stick to softwares and apps. We call them protocols, we call them like
Different
chains
names.
over here.
Yes.
Yeah, but they still have the same underlying meaning, and almost you can interpolate them to each other. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's beautiful. You said something about back in university days, which I want to make it as a segue to this question about your first crypto experience. Let me start with mine. I want this to be a bit interactive because I'm trying to improve. I have had
Yeah.
two. So the first one, I noticed I was asking the question, just question. So I want to bring in a bit of my experience to maybe lead you into yours. And this is that my first
Yeah.
crypto experience was in 2020. Was it 2020 or 2021? Then Bitcoin was at $6,000. $6,000.
Wow.
So I'm not sure if it's
Yeah.
2020 or 2021. $6,000, and was it six? Yeah, 6,000. No, before then it was $6,000, but at a specific price. This
Yeah.
price, I think it was 11 or 13,000. I decided to go into crypto, and guess what I did? I went straight to Udemy, then bought courses
Yeah.
on.
But
I bought,
yeah.
bought courses on what's it called? Not even how to invest in crypto. I bought courses on mining, crypto mining. I did
Mm,
a crypto
mm,
mining course for close to 2 months, and at this time, crypto was like
wow.
18,000. Sorry, Bitcoin was at $18,000. Now, this is what happened. At
Wow.
$18,000, I was like, wait, I am missing out on something. I called a friend. At this point, Bitcoin was maybe 20, 21. I remember that day. I called a friend and I told him, I have I think I had maybe $500 then. I just want to put it into crypto. How do I go about it? Then this guy summarized what I had been learning for 3 months in 20 minutes. Go to Binance. We had a WhatsApp call.
Good day.
Yeah, his name is Steven actually, in case he's watching this. So we had this WhatsApp call. He taught me everything about crypto. And at 28 or 20 something, I bought Bitcoin. Fortunately that year,
Wow.
Fortunately that year, Bitcoin jumped to 50. By December, I think. I just forgot my money there. December, Bitcoin jumped to 50 something. And that was my introduction. So my introduction was kind of sweet. Although I wish I had invested earlier, but it was sweet.
Yeah.
And that was what even brought me to you in terms of all these seminars you've had with us, the Zoom calls, everything. And I kept on learning all these. Then I got to know about all these do we call it altcoins, right? Altcoins and
Altcoins.
other things, and
Yeah.
I went deep into them. Now the question is, what's yours like? When did you first know about crypto? What's that?
I think with everything that comes to my story is chaos. There's always chaos in every of my story. So it like under it like
Mm.
underlines what I would call the outline of my story.
Oh,
So my first interaction with crypto is quite ironic because I like um Bitcoin started after the whole financial crisis.
okay.
I got into it in 2010, just 2 years after the whole
Oh,
financial crisis
that's a lot.
and
That's a
everything.
long time ago.
Though, like, it had indirect effect on our economy.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2011, I was in 200 level. I was just this kid that was a little bit tech proficient.
Yeah.
So I got into playing a game. It was Monkey Jump or something like that. So I got into playing a game, and they were rewarding us with Bitcoin.
Oh.
But the challenge then was I had no technical understanding of the whole technology. Like I had
Mm-hmm.
no understanding. So I think over the course of playing that game, I think I made like a Bitcoin and a half. But the irony of this whole story is there's chaos behind it because till today I can't find those Bitcoins because I didn't save the keys to that wallet because I didn't have the keys to that wallet. I think I was just stupidly playing the game. It was Monkey something, I can't remember. But there was Monkey to the name of the game. So that came and went. Like that episode just went like that. I didn't even know the price of the asset I was getting. I think Bitcoin was around, if I'm not mistaken, Bitcoin was around $120 that time. I'm not
Oh
so sure.
God.
I might
Oh
need to check the
God.
chat. So, so 2011, yes, I'm not so sure, but I think Bitcoin was at that
At
ridiculous
that
amount.
price.
And I'm
Damn.
talking, you know, like I'm talking of the era when naira to the dollar, like I would still need to check the figures. This is a spontaneous podcast for those that are watching, so I didn't get time to check all of this. So, but if I'm not mistaken, the naira to the dollar then was something between the region of 100 to 200 and something. I'm not so sure because I'm not so sure, but 100 to 200 or
You,
300
you
there.
you're right. You're
So
right. You're
like
right.
you can see how significant that stack of Bitcoin would have been
It would
if I
have
had
been.
kept it or had access to those wallets now. So that episode went. Then 20 20 2009. Sorry, no, not 2009. 2019.
Okay.
I now got full time into freelancing. Like I was a
Okay.
freelance copywriter. I was trying to
Yeah.
get gigs.
Yeah.
So fortunately for me, I at that particular point in time, I got a loan from my mom. I got 400,000 naira. I don't know the amount. I can't really remember the equivalence in dollars. I got a 400,000 naira loan from my mom, and I started trading the stock exchange, Nigerian stock exchange,
Okay.
because
Okay.
I was trying to get a new source of income. I was trying to just make out something for myself. So fortunately enough for me, I was able to turn that 400 Nigerian naira. I was able to turn it to 700,000 naira.
1,000 naira.
So, but yeah, coincidentally, at that particular period in time, I met a client on Upwork. I was a freelancer on Upwork then. I met a client on Upwork that wanted me to write an article for him for a ridiculous amount of money. Like for those that have been in Upwork for a very long while, you will know that getting someone to pay you as high as $50 for an article is a lot of money
It's
then.
a huge
So
one.
this guy
It
was willing
is.
to pay me, yeah, this guy was willing to pay me $300 for an article I would have done for $50. What was the article all about? The article was for me to write about cryptocurrency markets. I was like,
White paper.
wow. So I was like, for this guy to be willing to pay me this amount of money for this job that I could have done for way lesser, it must mean that whatever he is doing, there's a lot of money in it. So I got very curious. I'm like, oh, I've heard about this Bitcoin before. I've played games that gave me this Bitcoin before. So why wasn't I paying attention to it? So I just decided I dived into the rabbit hole. I started aggressive research. Along the line, I bought a course. I bought a course from Chris Annie. The guy is a very
Oh, I know
influential
this guy.
Web3
This
guy in
black guy.
Nigeria.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know him. He has a school. He has a school.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So very cool guy, very cool guy. I bought a course from him. I got into his community. I started to understand the intricacy of the whole blockchain ecosystem. And I was fortunate enough to merge those two industries together, my freelance copywriting and cryptocurrency. So I was kind of trying to find a middle ground for the both of them. Like now I started now writing for cryptocurrency companies. Like I was producing articles for them. And to be sincere with you, they were paying me money that was not reasonable. Let's be sincere. And it coincided like the timing was right in the sense that they were preparing for the mother of all bull runs. We don't know what will happen in this present cycle, but they were preparing for the mother of all bull runs. I worked for a company that paid me. $3,000 for just a time job, like one time contract. Like it was that crazy. So it spiked my interest. I was making money. I was learning. I was using that money, like the money I made from the industry. I was trying to use it to make more. I was trying to flip stuff. So it became very chaotic very fast because it was the 700K I made from the Nigerian Stock Exchange I now brought
Brought
back into
into
the
crypto.
industry with the money I was exactly like with the money I was making from my clients. Like I was living with that cash. So I discovered, oh, I can make this a full-time career. I can actually do something in Web3. Like so though the timing was very important, timing, which was 2019, 2020, like you rightly mentioned, when
Mm-hmm.
you bought, you'll be surprised that you've made more than 70% of people that got into crypto at the wrong time.
Yeah, of
Because
course, of course.
you probably made yeah, you probably made a $500 investment
Mm-hmm.
that became more than
Way
$1,000
more, way
and
more. Mm-hmm.
way more than $1,000. And I can assure you that less than 50% of traders make actual money in this industry. I must be very sincere with you.
Wow.
And the issue is usually with the first issue I had. I was just playing a game. I didn't understand the technicalities. I didn't take time to understand it. Even when I didn't understand, I could have taken time out of my not so busy schedule because I was a student. I wasn't a first class student by any standard. So I could have taken that time to understand what cryptocurrency was, what Bitcoin was, and all of that. And it would have panned out very well for me then. It would have panned out excellently for me then. But I didn't do that. But I was fortunate enough to do that in 2020, 2019, 2020. So,
Mm-hmm.
and to make matters worse, there was COVID-19. Everybody was sitting at
Of
home.
course,
Everybody
of course.
was trying to make money online. So,
Yeah, that was what
I think that was one
instigated me
of
too.
the yeah, I, I think that was one of the most important factor that made that journey for most people at that particular time a very profitable one. So yeah, I think that's my whole journey into Web3 as well. You can
Mm,
see how chaotic
that's
the whole
crazy.
picture I've painted
That's
looks.
crazy. Funny enough, I think there's something about tech students back then. There was a time on campus where this freelance thing became a movement because I remember just around that time my friends introduced me to writing too, and I was on Fiverr, not Upwork. I was on Fiverr, and Fiverr was
Oh,
doing yeah, Fiverr was doing well. So I understood. I still understand the concept of writing articles for $10, $20, $25, and Fiverr keeping 20% of it, and like,
$20 amount
and
of money, but
that's
it
crazy.
was it was a lot
Yeah,
reward to us that time.
it meant a lot. My 28th birthday, was it 28th or 21st? I was like a king. I was like a king. You know, I invested a lot. I think I started a farm. I started a farm. Yeah, I remember I started a snail farm, rabbitry, snailry or something. Then I was teaching around that time. I think we were done. 21, I was already out of campus. So I had this IELTS, not IELTS, like physics, chemistry. I was teaching physics, chemistry with students then. So I celebrated it with all my students. I hope can still get the pictures. I will bring them out just to show. They were like, "Is this a teacher's money?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm a ghostwriter. I'm a ghostwriter." But then didn't have, I didn't have the
Oh my god.
opportunity to write for crypto people. I think what I was focused on then was writing articles and books. I remember writing a book for an American that gave me one step because I spelled MUM, mom as MUM, not MOM. So a lot of
Oh.
yeah, so I was writing books. I was focused on books. I think I wrote a book about keto diet. Then, research. I did a lot of research then too. I think that was just what my group, the likes of, yeah, maybe you know this guy, Ichiro Samuel,
Yeah,
his
I know
name.
it. I know
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So
It
each
just
Fesh, yeah, yeah, each Fesh and Obams, all those guys. So we were in that group of writers doing stuff like that, which is crazy. You said something I want you to clarify for, especially those people coming coming maybe new into crypto. You said we were preparing for the bull run. What's a bull run? What's a bear run? Let's just clarify that before we go.
Okay, yeah, yeah. With every market, or with every traditional market, there is what we consider the bull cycle and the
Okay.
bear cycle. Now, the bull cycle is a specific period of time, usually a very short period of time, a year or less, where the whole market is trending upward. Like at that time, it's almost looking like you can never lose. Like everybody's looking like a professional trader at that time. I remember that particular period in 2020, 2021. There was a bull run with NFTs where any NFTs you threw your money at was going to give you at least 10x, 20x, and everybody felt like a genius. But now you can see everybody's talking about NFTs like they're scam NFTs. So that's a very good indication of of a bear cycle. That is when everything is going nose diving
Nose diving
down.
down.
Everybody's losing their pants. Everybody's crying. Everybody's like, "Oh, I took a loan. Now it's worth nothing." And
Oh
so,
no.
so,
Yeah.
so
I remember one NFT I
with
bought. Okay,
crypto
okay.
is yeah with crypto is usually not always accurate, but it's usually a 4 year cycle because it's
Okay.
somehow I I quote air quotes it's somehow tied to the Bitcoin halving. Like the reward of Bitcoin
Mm,
miners is
yeah,
halved
halving.
every 4 years. There's usually a very good volatility with price for the asset within that 4 year cycle. Now, the last halving happened, uh, very ironic, it happened April this year. And
Okay.
if you look at the price of Bitcoin, it's momentarily went above the all-time high, and it has been going down since then. But we are envisaging that usually 594 days. It sounds a little bit contradictory, but 594 days after the halving, there's usually where the whole attention will come from. It might not be as much as that because there is this sentiment that with the United States election coming in November,
Coming up.
things would start going like yeah, like it usually plays out to the T. By the election in November, December, January, the whole atmosphere of the crypto market should be very positive. At that point in time, you will see every news outlet talking about crypto,
Talking
crypto
crypto,
this,
talking
crypto
crypto,
that,
talking
crypto
crypto.
this. So, like talking this, talking that, talking this just dictate 100x. So at that point in time, like there's this FOMO, there's this fear of missing out. Everybody's trying to, even people that don't understand the market are trying to pour their money into the market, and everything just goes ballistic. So yeah, that's it about cycle. So you're saying
Thanks
something
for that.
about an NFT you bought.
So there was this NFT I bought. Wait, actually, you introduced me to the NFT, but I think it was during the one. Do you remember this NFT of a girl doing something like this? Like it's this NFT. The
Mm.
picture is of a girl. Uh, remember
I,
when we
I,
bought it
I,
back then?
I
We even used
sincerely
the
can't.
NFT as our DP, saying this is our new
Okay, 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 okay.
this.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I think that should be Word of Women or something like that. I can't remember, but
Yeah, different black women.
uh,
I bought it and
yeah,
yeah, we even joined the two. But the funny thing is that that was my only experience with NFT. But sincerely, the reason I joined was just to experience what it took, like what it was like to buy NFT. So I really didn't see that as a loss. I wanted to have that experience of this is what buying an NFT like. I think
yeah.
I entered Blue Sea or this website is it Blue Sea or Blue Whale or something. The name of the website, yes, NFT.
Use open sea,
Open
open
sea,
sea.
open sea. So I just experienced it
Yeah,
and it was beautiful. And I think that was the start. Around that time was the beginning of, can I say, the end or the bear market for NFT at the time. Yeah. So,
yeah, yeah. I think,
celebrities were
I think
buying NFT.
that was the end.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
celebrities were buying
yeah.
NFTs at ridiculous amounts of money and people were jumping, jumping at this a thing. And talk of you said something about the election coming in, and I want to bring that back to Nigeria. I think the government is a bit pessimistic about this thing. I've heard some news about the arrest of one Bitcoin, sorry, Binance. I don't know if that is relating to Bitcoin or Web3, but I heard of one arrest of recent. But the question is that
Yeah, yeah.
what's the Nigerian government's stance on crypto in Nigeria? I believe we are part of the early adopters. I must say, a lot of people don't even know about crypto right now. So, what's the government's stance on that? Then, before we go worldwide, let's start with Nigeria.
Yeah, I'm not so sure where Nigeria stands
Hmm.
in when it comes to the crypto space,
Okay.
regulatory space generally. I feel like the reason why the Nigerian government is a little bit hostile to crypto
Okay.
is because they don't understand it,
Okay.
and they don't have people, they don't have personnel that would carry them along when it comes to the regulation of crypto, how it works, the pros and cons, how they can implement regulations, and how they can like just make it safe for the whole populace. But I think I wrote an article in 2021, and one of the things I found out in 2021 was as at then, Nigeria as a country was the second largest users and holders of cryptocurrency in the world.
Wow.
I'm I'm almost 100% sure and optimistic that we still hold that records, that second place record, just behind the United States. So that goes to show you how involved the populace of Nigeria is in the crypto space in general. And it's only a matter of time. Like there are obvious reasons why Nigerians are positive towards crypto because a lot of them have been able to make ends meet and augment for the harsh economic reality we are facing at the moment.
Of course.
But there's always two sides to the story
Hmm.
of any story, and I would like to give an argument for the government side.
Government too.
Is the fact that they were trying to fight the crash of the naira. I think in a very wrong way because there were some inside information that somebody in the government was laundering money to crypto.
Oh.
So they had to react. They had to try to like block that person. But imagine trying to block one person and in the same vein you are blocking millions of people. That's going to get a very hostile reception because you are
Reception.
trying to take food from the mouth of millions
Yeah.
because you are trying to save the economy from one person that's trying
Of
to ruin
course.
the economy. Like I think they tackled that in the wrong way. Yes, they are bad actors. They are bad actors everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yes, they are bad actors. But at the same time, there were better ways of them regulating and fighting these bad actors than shutting everything down. Presently, you can't access Binance on the web. You can only access Binance on the app because
Hmm.
Binance has found it to block Nigeria because they don't actually want further legislative issue with the government. Because the CEO of Binance, I think in the sub-Saharan region, was arrested in Nigeria.
Hmm.
That was the whole fiasco that happened. He was detained and all of that. I think he has been released provisionally, but the Nigerian government has always been on and off about crypto. You would remember during the Buhari regime, there was a
Hmm.
time there was this quote
Crackdown they had then too.
on crackdown on Bitcoin. When the Tinubu administration came in, they eased that. They were like, "Oh, we are a little bit pro crypto. We want to understand it." So I feel the important thing is for people in power to understand this technology because there are countless ways this technology can actually help improve our economy. One of the major issues we are facing as a country is a lack of good database. And the blockchain solves that effortlessly. NFTs solve that effortlessly. I wouldn't be saying too much because I think the federal government should pay me for consultancy, but there are there are there are numerous ways that they can solve problems with the blockchain. There are numerous ways.
Hmm.
There's a body in Nigeria, NITDA, that is trying to do that. They've
Of
been
course.
trying. Um, I joined some of their programs. They are trying, they are putting in much effort,
Okay.
but they can do better. And if they
Mm.
can, in partnership with NIDA and some other technology boards in Nigeria, accelerate the understanding of crypto in Nigeria. There's a very new meta in the whole industry now. There's this tap tap where everybody's tapping their phone.
I saw it. I was like, what's happening? A lot of people was just tapping. Grrr. What's the problem with that?
like, like the funny thing is, a lot of people don't even understand the whole thesis. A lot of people don't even understand the whole um base of the whole tapped this thing. Is the fact that now a lot of times you need to uncover these things on like uncover the different layers of these stuffs. Is the fact that there's what we call the open network. The open network is Ton. It is the blockchain that the popular Web2 app Telegram is running on. So Telegram, Ton is a blockchain for Telegram. So that's why you see that most of these apps are on Telegram. So these apps, this tap tap or
Okay.
game or mini apps as the case may be, they are
Mm-hmm.
apps that are built on the
Okay.
Ton network. So they work on Telegram. And that is why most users have to do it through a Telegram app. So a lot of people don't even understand all of that. That there's a blockchain that works on the base layer of all of this. Now, Telegram has been having a war trying to get a chain for so long. There's the founder is a Russian. The guy had to run out of Russia because he was facing resistance from the Russian government. He didn't want to give out information. He didn't want to have to divulge data.
Okay.
So the whole Telegram as a company work as a studio company.
Mm,
It's a pseudo company. They don't have an headquarter. They tried having an headquarter in the United States, I think in California or thereabout. The CEO was telling us a story of how he got robbed. Like, and he was like, oh, you know what? I can't bring my company here. So, like, this guy understands crypto. Like, the reason why crypto came in was sounds ridiculous, but a little bit deviant to the government, to the financial system, how they messed
mm-hmm.
everybody up, how people lost their money in the 2008 financial crisis. So this guy understands the whole thesis of crypto, the whole ethos of crypto. Now, he's not perfect, his chain is not perfect, but he has this massive adoption. There are millions of users for Telegram. So imagine if Telegram is able to onboard 20 million, 50 million. I think Notcoin out over 20
Okay.
million users. The new ones are breaking records now. There are so 30 million users. There's a particular one, Amster Combat. Amster Combat has videos on YouTube that makes over
Wow.
30 million views. Like that has garnered over 30 million views. Imagine that reach. Imagine the amounts they're able to make from monetizing YouTube. Now, imagine if a little source of that income is funneled into the token. You know, now you're creating a new demography of users that would be empowered financially just for what? Just for
Mm-hmm.
tapping their phones, just for buying things on their phones and all of that. So these tab
Okay.
games are not perfect. They are not perfect. A lot of them have endless flaws. A lot of them are not logical. Like, why should you continuously be tapping your phone? Like, they make little sense, little logic. But at the same time, their foundations, their building blocks
Mm-hmm.
to what would now be to the apps that would now be accessible through Telegram, to financial freedom for some people, to some people having a financial system that does not need to depend on a corrupt bank, that does not need to depend on a banking system, that when the banking system fails, the federal government will come and bail them out.
Mm,
When they've lost people's money, when they've ruined people's life, when people's mortgage is in the dumpster. Like, this is a system that the Web3
mm-hmm.
ethos is trying to fight against. We are not rebelling against the government totally, but the financial system is broken. Look
Mm-hmm.
at Zimbabwe, look at the inflations they're having. Look at Nigeria, look at the inflations we are facing. Hyperinflation induced by the government, induced by the populace, because the populace also don't understand economics. We have to be very sincere. Some people don't want to hear this truth. But this hyperinflation is caused largely by Nigerians, the pepper seller, the tomato seller, and the government. We are both responsible for it. So when you understand the theory of demand and supply, which you cannot escape in
Mm-hmm.
crypto, because when you buy, like when you buy a coin that goes to zero, you would know that yes, demand and supply does not balance out. So once you understand this nitty gritty, it looks like you are gambling. Like a lot of people, those in the Web3 space, we call ourselves degenerates. But in all of this gambling, you begin to understand some basics of economics, demand and supply. Like if our government can understand demand and supply, they would stop printing money. The United States will stop printing money, stop putting the whole world into debt. So if they understand the inelasticity
Yeah.
supply and all of that technical stuff, some of the mistakes we've made as a nation, some of the mistakes we've made as a conglomerate as a whole
Mm-hmm.
would be reduced or would be stopped. You can't just keep printing out money. Like frankly, having endless supply, like the United States Reserve cannot just keep printing money for to solve all their problems. Print money,
To buy
buy
bonds
bonds,
again.
use the same money you print to buy bonds, sell the bonds out to citizens, like to buy bonds again, like a vicious, endless cycle of inflation. If you think the inflation is bad now, come back in 10 years' time. So it sounds crazy,
Let
but
me
the
let
only
me
saving
let me
grace
come
is
in there.
Bitcoin. It
I want to
sounds
come in
crazy.
there. You
I'm
said
not even a
something,
Bitcoin
and I
maxi.
I feel a bit of there's a bit of conflict here. So the you said something about the ethos of crypto, which is
Yeah.
to deviate from fiat. Fiat is the normal money, right? Fiat currency, dollars, naira, that's fiat. Now, you
Yes.
said that crypto is
Yes.
to save us from, and I think the goal of crypto, I think I've read some books, I've done my research also. The goal of crypto is to, one, save us from these third party, let's say financial institutions, banks and the likes of them, just create this I don't want to call it non traceable, but make it, I can transact with you without having to involve the third party. In a way, the government depends on the power of this third party to control, to retain their power. Do you think the government is right not to adopt crypto since they know that it's a way of relinquishing their power to the unknown?
No, yeah, no, I think now
Okay.
I'll try and make some distinction in the fact that when people make comparison with nations that don't work, they make comparison
Okay.
with a government like the United States. But the fact remains that um, other than infrastructure, which the government of the United States is beginning to
Mm-hmm.
relinquish a lot of to private firms, the government don't do more than 30% of what everybody expects the government to do, or this myopic mindset that is what the government does. And I know you've been at least you've gone
Since
to a
what?
society
Yeah.
where
Yes. Yes.
things work more than they don't, at least like relatively to the way it is in Nigeria. Now, the only thing that will not be left with the government is regulation. But the government is so drunk with power that they think that they lose function if they don't have power. Now, I am going to debunk something now that is always used as an argument for crypto is the fact that they say transactions on the blockchain are anonymous. Transactions
Okay.
on the blockchain are not anonymous. You can trace the transaction on the blockchain. Transactions on the blockchain is more transparent than the banking system. It is a fact. You can ask somebody that understands the technical side of crypto. Transactions on the blockchain is more traceable. You can go to an
I
explorer,
get what you're
look at
saying.
where
Yes.
the money is going from. I think you understand what I'm saying. Look at where money is going from another wallet to another wallet. Now, from centralized exchange, you can trace back the name. What is the name of this user? Like it is very easy. You just need to work with the right players. You need to work with people that understand this technology. So, is the government really relinquishing their power? I don't think so. The issue is the government has a gaggling problem. They love to gaggle power. They love to gaggle people. The government knows that if there's something like the blockchain, they can impose sanction on Russia. Like you can't you on the blockchain you can't say money should stop going somewhere. Like you get so so it is those malicious powers that they are trying to preserve. Like You like you can't tell people how to spend
You
their
might
money, but that is
you
something
might
you
be
can still
putting
do
me
with
in
the
trouble
bank.
here.
Your account can be frozen. So, so like, I feel like, and this is
Okay.
I'm going to say something here that might put myself in trouble too. But let me just say it. Like, we went from a society that was imposed restrictions. Like, we went from a society that told us in 2022 that we must always use hand wash, we must always use nose masks, we must not touch each other. To 2024 now, suddenly we are all touching each other. Suddenly, there's no need. Like, when was the last time we
Yeah.
talked about COVID-19? So that is the kind of power that the government is scared of losing. They can't impose narratives. They can't tell you what to do. That is what the old crypto and Web3 does. Like, it takes away that power from anybody that has that power. Because suddenly now everybody's acting like they weren't telling us that COVID-19 is more lethal than malaria. And trust me, brother, till tomorrow, malaria is still killing
Killing
great men.
people.
And nobody has imposed any restriction. Like, they imposed traveling restrictions on all of us. We could not travel. Like, that is the kind
How the
of
weird
power
over
that the
people.
government is saying. Like, but you get like they are in charge of the media, so it's easy for them to control the narrative. Like, it's easy for them to control the narrative, and like, I am shell shocked that nobody's
It's
talking about
just
COVID
it's
19 again. I am shell shocked.
it
Everybody's
never
just acting like
happened.
it never happened.
Never
Like,
happened to people. You said something about
like everybody's talking
it like it never
like
happened.
it
Yeah,
never
that's
happened.
crazy. I understand that. You said something about regulation. Do you think without government? I think that this is what I'm looking at. Okay, it's you. We want the government to give crypto or Web3 power, and we think the government should regulate. But don't you think we should? By we, I mean Web3 crypto. Don't you think crypto should be able to self-regulate? We've had instances of people scams, hacks, a lot of things there in the crypto world. If this is the
Mhm.
new way to go, if this is the way to go, I think the financial institution came to replace the trade by barter system, right? They came and they replaced that successfully. And so far, I must
Yeah.
say the banking system has been able to self-regulate itself in a way, at least. Although they need help, they still go bankrupt, they do bad business. But the thing is that, do we have that system in place? Is there any system in place in the crypto world to make these regulations happen? Because this is going to lead me to another question, but I wanted to go with that first.
Yeah, I think if there's
Okay.
anything that the human race has shown historically is the fact that
Okay.
we can't self-regulate ourselves. Like, we can't self-regulate ourselves. Like, some particular section will not agree with what I'm saying, but we've proven over time that we can't self-regulate ourselves. I'll go into the Bible. Babylon, they could not self-regulate themselves. That was why, either you believe it or well, either you believe that story or not, fictional or reality. That is why they could not regulate themselves. That was why language brought about division. Because if they could self-regulate themselves, even with their difference in language, they would have still built that tower. That is one. like human beings, we've shown over time, like we've shown across history, the the Roman Empire, like we can't regulate ourselves. Like, Israel asking for a king is because they could not self-regulate themselves. Like, if you look into the basics, like, why do you need a king? Like, symbolism, that king was a system,
Okay.
because that king was going to elect people, and that was why Israel was going into chaos. They could not regulate themselves. They needed a king. Babylon could not regulate themselves. The Roman Empire fell because they could not regulate themselves. Those at the top
Yeah, yeah, I get
became
that.
like every empire that has collapsed. They could not regulate themselves, so they always needed an organ that
Order.
would call every other
Okay.
part to order. That is just like if there's anything that history has shown me, and I'm a student of history because I try to look back and see a pattern because there are patterns. You might not agree. You might like look at every story of civilization. Look at every folklore. There's always a story of where the human race, the inability of the human race to regulate themselves, led to chaos. A system led to anarchy. The system collapses. Like it has always happened, and it will always happen. So, like the issue with crypto presently is the fact that there are so many bad actors. They are not as much as the good actors. They are not as much as people that are trying to make money, like pure intent of making money. They are not as much as people that are trying to make a
Okay.
difference. They are not as much as people that are trying to bring about new innovations that will change the world. But these bad actors are enough to collapse the system. Hence, why we need to cooperate with the government, we need to work with the government and like form a
A
structure,
structure.
like form a boundary, like form a premise with which we
Yeah,
can
thanks
play.
for that.
Yeah, so are human beings capable of you asked that is Web3 capable of regulating itself, but I will go back to say
Humans
human
and not
beings are not
scam. I
capable of,
like that.
of
Thank you.
self-regulating themselves.
Now, the reason I asked that question is this: we had, was it 2 years ago? We had this craze of Dogecoin. If you know where I'm going to, Dogecoin, Elon Musk talking about
Yeah,
Dogecoin, and
yeah,
I think there was a court case around that time asking him. I think there was something about people not influencing uh, altcoins, and at this around this time also there was this coin which I again was fortunate to invest in. What's the name? Shiba Inu. If you've heard of Shiba Inu. Shiba
okay.
Inu, okay, for the sake of social
Yeah.
media, but for the sake of this video, I think Shiba Inu gave me like my first 5 or 10x. I'm not sure, 5, 7x something. Crazy. I Shiba Inu did. I think I
Wow.
went from 0.00.
Wow.
I bought around 0.000, like 5 zeros, then one, to going to another. Like I did a lot. Now, then these coins, we've had instances of coins that come like that. They've come with a story, blah blah blah. You buy them, they rise, then they come down. Dogecoin also, it's like back down. But the thing is that when Elon Musk tweeted, he made a tweet back then and made Dogecoin rise. Like what do we call it? Soar, right? It made it soar and it came up and I think there was a story of there's a story.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the moon.
So to
Thank
the
you. To the
moon.
moon. Now there was this story of yeah, there was a litigation, I'm not sure, against Elon Musk back then, and a lot of
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah. There
Yeah, a
was.
lot of
Yeah, he had to
celebrities
face
were like they kind of now backed down. They weren't shouting coins, which brings me to Davido coin, and of recent, um, what's the name of this guy? Sabi coin. We now have coins, yeah, Sabi coin, Davido
fabulous.
coin, and these guys, I believe they know next to nothing about what these things are about. Maybe their advisors are the ones doing that. Okay, well, that's my opinion. They might understand better. How do we control all this? Before you know it now, I might start my coin, ABR coin or something, Slack coin. How do we control this?
Now, I want to start off this segment by saying 99% of
Exactly.
coins are useless. 99% of coins in web are useless. They have no use. They serve no purpose. They are just making up the numbers and inflating, further causing inflation. I know this sounds contradictory, but that's what happens in the open market
Hmm.
where you can't control things. Is the fact that, like I said, human beings are incapable to self-regulate. It goes into chaos. Like everything that the human race has touched has decayed. Sounds very dark, but it is what it is. So now the fact that
Okay.
there's no regulation also means that people that are supposed to be held accountable can do things without being held accountable. Now, I love
Exactly.
Sabinos as a content creator. I love him. Some people don't find some people don't find him funny enough, but I think it
Happy.
serves his
Mhm.
purpose. He makes people happy. He makes people laugh. I have lots of respect for that guy. But whatever he did in Sabicoin was just simply to enrich himself. I'm very sure he made more from Sabicoin than
Exactly.
70%
Of
of his net
days,
worth
yes.
in just a couple of days. Now, so you get like I know people might want to challenge these numbers I threw out, but you can try and dig yours. If you are
You,
if you know how to read the blockchain, you would know that the prospect of making that much money in a very short period of time is something that is always lucrative to the bad actors. I
again,
am not saying Sabinus is a bad actor, please. Sabinus fan, don't cancel us. I am not saying like like let's even go to the video so that maybe when they try to cancel us, maybe they can push this podcast up a little bit. Like like Davido made more from that coin than he would have stressing himself to. I'm very sure he made from that coin what he would
that's
have
it.
made from three shows.
That's
Yes, I am saying that. Yes, because I know the numbers. Yes, like I'm saying this from somebody that has bought a coin of $40 and
crazy.
went
That's
to as high
crazy.
as $10,000. Yes, I've done it, and that is what these celebrities are trying to do. That is what they are trying to replicate. Sure, you get like that is what they've just done. Like you can just remove liquidity, pump up
Dump,
the price.
dump it. Yeah.
Once it goes up, sell. Like
I
there were
heard he
rumors
dumped.
that
Yeah,
so dumb. Like sure you get like so like the prospect of just sitting down on your sofa as a celebrity and tweeting stuff on your phone and you are able to garner up liquidity out of nowhere. The liquidity is not coming from nowhere, mind you. The liquidity is coming from the random Joe that thinks that because Davido
due to his
mentioned the coin
influence.
is going to pump, then she and he borrows money or takes her school fees and now pours it into the coin. Like value does not come from thin air. Value comes from it's like osmosis
One
from
lower
layer of higher
concentration. Yeah.
concentration to higher concentration. That is the way it works. You get like it's simply osmosis. You that you are poor, you are bringing more money to somebody that is rich and is able to dump like drag the liquidity from that and dump it on your head. Like that is just how the system works. Now, is it a fair system? No, not by any means. And that is why somebody like us or somebody like me, somebody like people that advocate for the same thing I advocate for is finding a common ground where we can talk with the government, especially the United States government, because I believe whatever the US government does is what other governments
Okay.
would now try and replicate. That is what has always been happening. We try and copy them, even though they also have
Dominant.
dumb guys that make the calls
Okay.
sometimes. But like, but we try, but we try and copy them. So I feel like if they can, if people we refer to as the OGs in the industry, people like Ansem, I don't like the guy. People like Kobe, I love Kobe because I think he's very intellectual and he knows what he's doing. If people like that can work with the government, the United States government, the United Kingdom, those are blueprints that people copy. If they can work with that government to draw out a map for what regulations should look like, draw out a system that works, then it can now be replicated. That way, you cannot just come out and create a coin. Before you create a coin, you look at the
Exactly.
legal consequences of creating that coin. Because you know that whatever it is you are creating might be classified as a security. And you can go to
I
jail
think.
for selling an unregistered security. So, like, there's that framework for security already. There you get. So, if we can work something out with crypto that does not hamper innovation, because there are actually some legislations that can imagine calling Solana a security. I am not saying Solana is not a security, but okay, I am saying Solana is not a security, but who am I? I have no power. So I don't consider Solana to be a security because I didn't buy it under the Ohm's law of it being a security. There's you get like I wasn't buying it with like I wasn't buying it
Okay.
with the hopes of getting a dividend from buying it. At least that's like one of the reasons, like classification of securities. Like I don't think Solana is a security. So we need to be able to define. Um, we need to be able to define all these blurry lines, and then by then, celebrities will be wary of making decisions like tweeting that pumps up the price of an asset. Like those things will be agreed on. That Oga, you cannot just like because I love Elon Musk. Like he's one of the tech entrepreneurs I look up to.
It's too
But
much. It's too
that
much.
power is too much for just one man. The ability to pump up the asset price. Yeah, you get like I understand the fact that he has the same power with Tesla, but with Tesla it's not so profound. Why? Because we need to see your earnings. Like I understand that some people bought up Tesla shares just because they love the guy, yes, but the power he has with that is not as profound because he still needs results to like prop up the price of Tesla. Like we still need to see results. We still need to know that Tesla
Well,
is the best EV vehicle. Like the sorry, tautology. Tesla is the best EV in the market. Like I think Tesla is the best EV in the market, and whatever the share price is somewhat correlated to their performance as a product. Share you get. Now, if we are going to pump up Doge, apart from the mimetic value that comes with it, at least we should be able to
yeah, yeah.
substantiate that price. Share you get. Most of crypto assets are inflated. Like they are not at their real or okay, there's nothing like real price, but they are not at a price where their valuation is accurate. Sure you get. So I think until we get to that kind of point in this
A
industry,
long way to go. A long way to go.
we still have a
Yeah,
long way to go.
talk
Like we have a
of
long
like, give me 1 minute. I just you said something there, and I'm trying to formulate it in a better way. Market manipulation. I think that should be the name given to that. Market manipulation. There's this guy. I watched this
yeah,
documentary
yeah,
on
market
Netflix.
manipulation.
Have you heard of
Yeah.
GameStop? It's this is forex actually. GameStop. If you've seen that, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Rabbit, rabbit.
you're talking about Roy Kitty. Yes,
Exactly.
it's not a
It's a
documentary, it's a
full
full scale
movie
movie.
of this
It's a
guy
movie.
influencing a lot of people, and I think he was charged, right? He was charged to court.
He wasn't really charged.
Okay,
He
just to
was also
speak.
called
Okay,
to speak in front of
then he
Congress.
just
He
disappeared.
wasn't really.
He disappeared, and
Yeah.
that's it. Really?
Yeah, he's back. Actually, Roy Kitty is back. He had his
Oh,
first
I'm
live
going for
stream.
him
Was it last week or upper week? So when he came back, that
again.
also surged the price of GME stock and some other GME meme coins. I think GME on Solana did 80% when he came back. Like he has been off the grid for more than a year and a half.
That's
Like for so long, I think for so long
that's
he has been
crazy.
off the grid. He just came back, and they are projecting that it will be worth like 2 billion
Maybe I should go buy
if GME
GME.
keeps
This is
performing
not a
very well.
financial advice. And talk of this is not a financial advice. Why do people say that?
Yeah, that's no, no. Please, I think we need to start with this episode with
Why
nothing on this
why do
podcast
people
is
say that?
financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I would like to debunk. Yeah, people say that because
Hello? Mm-hmm.
in the US it's a crime to give financial advice if you're not a financial advisor. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
that is why people make that disclaimer before saying anything on the internet.
Okay.
Because if you're not a registered financial advisor in the
Oh.
US, you are liable to go into jail.
Okay, let's
So
come down
yeah.
to learner's level. Let's say somebody's about to go into. I just want us to relax a bit. We've thrown out a lot of beautiful. How many minutes have we spent? Ooh, we are 1 hour into this already. One solid hour. Oh God, that's interesting. Let's come down to people's.
Yes, I think this might be the longest. I think this might be a longest one.
Let me try to keep it as short as possible now. I'm a newbie. I want to go into crypto. How do I go about that?
I think the best way to go about it is to learn. Like try and get as much knowledge as possible. like try and get your hands as on as much authentic material as possible. Like try and learn. Like just try and go into that tedious process of learning. Like learn, relearn, unlearn whatever it is you've learned in the
Okay.
past. Understand the technology.
Where do we
Now,
learn?
when
Yeah,
you
where
do
do we?
that, there's no time frame to do that. Yeah, I think one place that people can learn that people don't pay attention to
Of
is
course,
YouTube. I think YouTube is like the best
it's
university I
amazing.
know. Yeah, like you don't even really need to buy a course. Like you don't need to buy a course. Like you can also learn from quote and unquote experts, people that one, their value
Okay.
aligns with yours. Two, and you are sure they know what they
Mhm.
are talking about. Yeah, because so many people say, like, I am going to sound very contradictory here. I don't do it. I've not started selling any course. I am not going to, at least for the
Okay.
foreseeable future. But so many people sell so many courses that they're not
Hmm.
qualified to sell. Like, you buy the course, and when you're done with the course, you feel done.
Oh,
You are like, oh, this guy, I've been hard done. This guy just took my money. I didn't really get anything from this. I know, I know you have like two, three stories to say about that, but let's just keep it like, like. So there's so many guys that they will sell you a course, and you feel hard done when you're
Of
done
course, of course.
with the course. You just feel like, oh, I'm not getting value for that.
Yeah. Do you have
But
anybody? Do you
it's
have
a
anybody
very
you want to
tedious process.
recommend? Like
Everything
names
is going to
you
be productive.
can drop, YouTube names you might want to drop for people to go and learn from or follow on YouTube.
Okay, the issue with the people, some of the names I would drop now is they might not work for
Mm,
beginners because okay, I think there are some that might work for beginners. Yeah, because if you dip into their if you dig into
yeah.
their library of content, you will see content you can start from, like
Okay.
how to set up a wallet, what is blockchain. I think somebody like
Oh, I know
Elio
Elio
Trades,
Trades. Hmm.
Elio Trades has a content like he has a Elio Trades has like he has a collage or like a
Hmm.
playlist that can work for beginners. Someone like Elio Trades, someone like
Hmm.
Easy Eats Bodega. Easy Eats Bodega is majorly a Solana guy, but
Chrisani does
somebody like Chris
interviews. He
Annie,
does interviews a
for those
lot,
that
man.
want to
Yeah.
connect with, yeah, somebody like Chris Annie, he has beginner courses he
Hmm.
sells. They might be a little bit expensive, but um, I wouldn't say I started from Chris Annie, but Chris Annie gave
Yeah.
me a very
Mhm.
good launching pad. So you get like, so Chris Annie has a very
Now I remember
large
what
collage
happened
of
with
content you
Chrisani.
can learn from. So
I
if
wanted
you
to
are
buy a
really,
course with Chrisani, and I think I was asked to pay
yeah,
200 or 250K. Was it 200 or 120K to join a group? And I was like, thank you.
yes,
So I was, I was like,
like like I think some of Chris Annie's content are
they're
very
expensive.
expensive, but the challenge I think he has is he has not been able to define some of his
Mm-hmm.
content very well. There are some of his content that if you buy
Mm-hmm.
only that, that's all you need. Like you are not a big, for example, let me make an example, a very vivid example. You are a beginner and you are going to buy a
Exactly.
signal group. Like you are
He
going to
offers
like
that
this.
too.
I
He
think he
offers
offers
that
those
too.
services where you pay for a group. Like, like as a beginner, that is a wrong way to start. Like you don't even know what a signal
Mm-hmm.
is. You can't even read a
Group.
signal,
Mm-hmm.
and you are going to buy a signal group course. It does to me. It doesn't make any iota of sense. Like if you're a beginner, buy courses that make you understand what you're
Mm-hmm.
getting into. Buy a beginner course that teaches you what is crypto. Like it sounds very
Yeah.
silly, but that is where you need to start from. You need to start from understanding what crypto is. Till today, some people are making millions of dollars. They can't
Mm.
differentiate between what a coin is and a token is. Fair enough for them, good game for them. Like they make millions of dollars. But what happens when his wallet gets hacked? You've made millions of dollars, it's sitting in your wallet, and suddenly you are hacked. You know, if you had bought the beginner course, if you know what you are not to do, if you know what you are to do, you wouldn't even get into the position of getting hacked in the first place. Like there was a pandemic of high asset crypto wallets getting hacked in
Mm,
2021, 2022, you will see people that had NFT worth $500,000, they would get hacked because there's a joke in the industry that we make. We say body API guys, they like clicking links,
mm,
they like animating their body because they were easy targets because the asset was very expensive. So they could just send any spamming link to them. They will click it. They will connect their wallet. They will sign the transaction. You are signing a transaction from a stranger. Like you are signing a transaction that is looking very suspicious. Like if you had understood, I'm not blaming people that get hacked. I've
mm.
gotten hacked multiple times too, but you need to understand some of these things, and that is why you need to get
Into the
into
arena.
the arena. You need to get into the pit and be dirty. You need to work your butt off.
Yeah.
Like you need to be ready to like there was a time I watched 4 hours worth of
Materials.
educational
Mm-hmm.
crypto
Mm-hmm.
content every day. Like materials every day. There's a guy like that, Cryptos Are Us. Like yeah, Cryptos Are Us. He also has crypto, then
There's this
R
British guy
US.
too.
Now he also does yeah, there are a lot of them. There are a lot of them. Like if I
The
like, I
list.
think I might need to come up with a
Mm-hmm.
list I can now share with your audience later. Like, like these are the basics you need to start with, and not just jump into making 20x. Yes, are people making 20x? Yes, but before somebody makes 20x, 1,000 people
Mm.
have lost their money. Like it is just as simple as that. I had somebody in my community that was messaging me and he was telling me that he's fed up of this whole degen. We call it degen. Degen is just
Okay.
blindly entering, not blindly, not necessarily blindly, but entering into tokens that are not proven with
Mm.
the hopes of getting like 10, 20x, like ridiculous returns. He was telling me of his friend that had lost close to
Wow.
$1,500 within the last month, that is fed up of that whole thing. You get like people are losing
Mm.
like life changing money. Yes, people are losing life changing money every day in this industry because they didn't do the dirty work. They didn't do the basics. They just jumped, like they jumped so many process into making 20x. They might be lucky and make that 20x, but they can lose it in a jiffy. It might sound cocky, but I would say I have made exponentially more in this industry, and I'm not, other than the 400K my mom gave me that I started stock market with and I brought into this industry. That is the only external money I've brought into into this industry. That
That's
is
great.
like my money that I didn't make in this industry. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I've made significantly more. Like I presently hold an NFT that is worth like $10,000. Like I've made significantly more than that, and I continue to make significantly more than that. And I can only attribute that to the fact that I started from the ground floor. I started from understanding what a wallet is. Till today, when we say some things in my community, some experienced people don't even understand where to start from. And this industry works at a very crazy speed that you need to be on top of things. So imagine not understanding those things and you're just jumping into stage five.
I
You need
get
to
that.
start
I
from the
get
ground
that.
floor. Then you build your way up, understand. At that point, you're not
I
comfortable
think
to
one
play. So I think
start
for a
from
beginner,
knowledge is first.
knowledge.
I think that's one thing I'm also proud of. Except Luna trying to kill me a few 2 years ago or last year. I think I must say overall I have made more than I lost in crypto. That's something
Oh
I
my
can
god. I think you just
I
froze.
say I
Oh
am
my
proud
god.
of. Hello? Please, internet, don't do that. Okay. So
Yes, I can hear
overall
you now. I can hear you now.
I've made
Yeah,
more
I can hear you
than
now.
I have lost in crypto. That's beautiful. I still have some tiny bit of amount just there invested. And this brings me to maybe my last question. For somebody starting investment, or let me say holding or trading, for somebody, for a newbie.
Hmm. I think for a newbie,
Okay.
my answer is going to be subjective. And I'll put it like this: I am a poor trader. I am a poor trader on
Mm-hmm.
every stratosphere you take it to. I am a poor trader, but I am a good uh, FA, fundamental analyst, in the sense that I can see something and see value in it and
Okay.
see the fact that it is undervalued, buy it, and within the time I buy it, over time, it will accrue value and it will probably catch up with the value I have,
Okay.
like in my head, like the estimation I have in my head. Shey you get. Now, I would say I am an long time investor. Now, a lot of people are better at trading. Like, I think you're in the group. I don't know if you are still in the group, but there are guys that can make
Wow.
$1,000
Mm-hmm.
every day from trading. And it's not like they are so good at technical analysis. No, they're just they have a hands-on approach. They can be on their system for 2 hours and be
Mm-hmm.
looking at, we call them shit coins, and be looking at shit coins popping, and they know what and what to buy. Like they can sense those kind of
Of
sentiment.
course. Mm-hmm.
But I am not so good at doing that. Shall you get? Like, for example, my present thesis is buying ton and buying Solana now and keeping them, buying Ton, buying Solana, buying Notcoin. Like I am buying them and keeping those coins for a considerable period of time because I know they are undervalued and I have thesis for them. My thesis for Ton is most of this tap app we get more users. So most of this tap app we get more users. They are getting more users. They will introduce more people into the blockchain, and these more people will bring more money into the Ton ecosystem. So I am buying Ton at $7 because I know that Ton at $7 is hugely undervalued. I think Ton is a $40 coin. Now, will Ton be a $40 coin in 4 weeks? I don't think so. Will Ton be a $40 coin in 3 months? I actually don't think so. But my thesis is when everything starts flying high, I believe that Ton will get as high as $40. It is just a simple thesis that I have been able to cultivate over time because I have seen the industry play out. When I was telling people to buy Solana, okay, no, I was not telling people. But when I was posting Solana
I
buys on
bought.
my status for
I bought.
$11,
I did.
we, when I was so when I was posting Solana buys on my status for $11, it looked
Mm-hmm.
foolish. It looked stupid. But Solana went for my $11 buy to over
Yeah.
one
It was once at
fifty
200.
dollar, and I sold out
It
of
was
some of
once at
those
two
positions.
hundred,
Not even
right?
some. I sold out. Yeah,
Yeah.
it almost touched,
It touched
yes,
200.
yes. I think it touched 200. So like I was I was
Mm-hmm.
averaging out of those positions because I knew that okay, $11 at my I think I started buying at $8 after that big crash. Then I knew that at that position I had
Money.
made significant amount of money to leverage out of that position. I am not a trader, but I have traded because I had a thesis of buying and keeping something. So I am doing the same thing now with Ton. The same thing I did with Solana, I'm doing now with Ton because I see a potential of it doing something similar to that. Because if you have 20 million people using, because we have to be very factual, some of these
Mm.
numbers are bots. But even if it's just like I love that Tom play that pawn play I did there. That was just blowing my own horn a little bit. Like I have a
A
thesis with
ton
pawn,
of this.
but like a lot of those
Yeah.
like I have a ton thesis with ton, a lot of ton thesis. So like even if just half of those users, even if just half of those 20 million users start buying stuff on Ton would do astronomic value. Now, my first target price is $40. But does it mean that
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think so.
$40 is the ending point? I don't think so. Like for those that were my avid followers on Solana,
Of
I
course.
had
Of course.
numerous take profit points, and I was calling
Yeah.
them. I'm not a financial advisor, but I was calling them uh, as soon as I was getting out of those positions. Why? I was doing that because I knew even when you tell people you're not a financial
You
advisor,
influence
some
people.
people
Yeah. Yeah. You
would still
influence
do
people. Yes.
would
Yes.
still make place with your call. I, so, so I needed to be transparent with when I was getting out of those positions so that
you will not
people will
Davido
not start
them.
complaining. I have a guy that is in my team. I will not video them. so so I had a guy that was like immediately I started leveraging out of that position, he came into my DM and he was like, he feels so bad he didn't get into this call. And I was like, I wasn't saying these things to make you get into this call. I was saying these things because I needed you guys to learn this process. That is the issue. There are different ways of also teaching people. I was doing those things to teach people how to act in those kind of situations. Another major problem people have in this industry is they buy and
Exactly.
they don't know when to sell. The fact is, if you buy something and you don't sell it, you actually don't make it. So, I was also teaching a core of my followership how to leverage out of positions. You need to learn how to leverage out of positions, and you don't do it all at once. You do it in steps. You do it in steps. So that was what I was just trying to do with that social experiment. I've stopped it because uh, if I start with turn now, I think I would have more
Buy
people that would start
and yeah, that might be
buying at a
another
ridiculous price.
influence or manipulation also. Me, in whatever form it
And
comes from. Yeah, I get
like,
that.
yeah,
Woo! Okay, I think I must. I just have to stop here. I
yeah.
just have to
So
stop here.
that's just
I
that.
have. I.
Yeah, that's just the thing about passion. If you don't stop me,
I'm.
I'll keep talking
Mhm.
about. I can talk about crypto
I'm
for
definitely
a
bringing you
whole
back
day.
here. The reason I want to bring you back, maybe next month. The reason I want to bring you back is I have a lot of questions to ask in terms of trading. A lot of terminologies we've made mention of here that we've not even dug deep into what they mean. Talk about trading. Even I have questions like this
Yeah,
leveraging, this
yeah.
what's the name of it? Stop profit, all this stop everything. We've not even touched them. But I just have to stop because I think the plan is to have this podcast or it is a podcast, right? Or interview to stay around the 1 hour mark. Yeah, to stay around the one
Yes,
hour
it's a
mark. So I'm
it's
still trying to play around with the online one
mm,
because I see a lot of people with physical, what's it called? Physical podcast or, everybody together. So I'm just like, there's no way I don't have the money for flight right now to bring people to
yes,
me or for me to go to people. So let's just stick online and,
yeah. No, I think that's
mm-hmm,
I think that's one of the things
online,
that
online.
COVID-19 also
Mm-hmm.
taught us that
Mm-hmm.
we don't always have
Yeah,
to
it can actually,
be
and
physical for things to work.
so far
Things
it
can actually
has
work online too.
been doing fine. So you just have to. So before I go, what advice? I think I ask people to tell, like talk to their future self. But to you, I want to say, what advice do you have for a new, uh, can I say podcaster? I don't want to call it, like, I don't know. Maybe because of the way we've bastardized the word podcast in Nigeria. I hate calling myself a podcaster. I call myself an educator. So, what advice do you have for something like this? How should we, or do you think we should improve?
I think yeah I think one advice I give across board and I think also works uh, is
Mm-hmm.
whatever you have conviction on, whatever it is in life you have conviction on, like give it 100%. Like that grit, more often than not, it is that grit
Yeah.
that grants results. And I'll just end with this little story. When I started copywriting, when I started freelance copywriting, for the first 3 months,
Hmm.
I didn't make $1. And I was investing money to buy Connect. I
On
learned that it's
Upwork,
even more
right?
expensive to buy Connect now and all of that. But I was buying
Upwork is
Connect.
now Connect is now a means of
Yes,
making
on
money.
Upwork. So like I was buying Connect. Bro. So like even then when it was not a big deal, Connect, like some of us were
Good.
buying Connect for like $100 a month. Like I was buying Connect then. I think one of the reasons why, and that was one of the reasons why I was successful, is the fact that I have this grit. I have this crazy grit. When I start something, I and I think it's also a fault. Like until the
Mm-hmm.
whole thing crumbles, I'm probably not going to stop. So I was doing freelancing then. I was like, it's either I make it here or I perish. That was the approach I was giving to it then. And it was partly due to the fact that I had a friend then, God bless his soul, he's still alive. But, I had a friend then that I saw him, he was
Yeah.
making money from freelancing. Yes, he was smarter than me because he had organizational skills. He could document things. Like the skills he had were crazy. Like I envied those skills.
Wow.
He would document. He had spreadsheet for everything. But I saw he was making money from freelancing, from copywriting. I was like, if this guy can be grossing in 2K a month, I think I should be able to gross in a thousand. I was I would like to believe I was like half as smart as he is. So if I'm half as
Half
smart
the
as he is,
amount
I
of
should be
money it
able to
does
make
to
half
it
the
makes to
amount he
that's smart.
does.
Yeah.
So yeah, and half their amount was okay for me at that time. So I was like, you know what? Since this guy can, I was going to give him my all. So for the first 3 months, I wasn't making any money. So when you are podcasting, when you are doing anything, content, just put it in your mind that for the first 1 year you are not making any money. Look at Mr. Beast. You can go and watch his interviews. Like you have to just be relentless. That you know what, I believe in this. I have a very high conviction in this. That is why your conviction has to be very defined. Like, what is your conviction? Is your conviction defined? Like, is your conviction pure? Like, is it? There's this guy that reviews tech products. Watch his
Oh, this
interview
guy
too. He said the
with
same thing. Like,
polo, right?
a lot of
With
them they don't even make
turtleneck.
money for the first.
I've forgotten.
Yes,
I've
yes.
forgotten.
There's always bastardizing every product. I've forgotten his name. So like you just have to have this conviction that a pure conviction. Like your conviction has to be pure. Your conviction does not have to be convoluted. Like yes, you make money,
Making
but
the
your
money.
conviction should not be
You should be the
about
influence and
should not
every
be
other
purely
thing.
about the
Yeah.
money. So you get like I made shit ton of money from crypto, but I was also very passionate about it. And that's something I've learned over time. Like I can talk about crypto to people, I can teach people crypto. Or everybody I've taught crypto, I've
Yes,
done it
I
for
can
free. Like
attest
I've
to
done it
that. Yes.
for absolutely free of charge. I think you can testify to that. Like, and there are people that have taught crypto and I've even
I
given them
can't
money to
attest to
like kind
that.
of establish
You
themselves.
didn't give
Like
me money.
that is how relentless. like, like there are people that I have supported financially. I have supported financially to like get a hold of themselves. So you get like that is the conviction I have. That is the conviction I have in this space, and that is I think as a content creator, I like to call podcasters content creator because you are creating content. You are helping people's life. As a content creator, that is what you need. Your conviction has to be pure, and you have to have that grit, that relentless spirit. That you know what,
Thank you, man.
I am
Thank you.
sticking to
Oh
this.
God,
It
I need to
shows
leave my
until it
house
bears
in the
fruit.
next 14 minutes. So let's stop here. I appreciate you. This has been great. We've spent, oh
Wow!
God, almost 1 hour.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for,
you. Thank you.
for having me. It
So,
was
so
a
I will
very good
stop here. Let me
experience.
just stop the recording here.